My name is Miguel Herrera. I'm 39 years old, born in Fresno, California, and I've been a long-haul truck driver for almost 11 years. I work for a mid-sized company called Redwood Freight Logistics, based out of Stockton. We move furniture-grade lumber, oak, maple, and treated pine, mostly overnight runs from Northern California down through Nevada and Arizona. On the night this happened, I was hauling a full trailer of processed wood panels destined for a manufacturing plant outside Flagstaff. Nothing dangerous. Nothing unusual. Just wood, straps, paperwork, and a deadline. I left Stockton at 6:40 p.m. The route was familiar. I'd driven it dozens of times. By midnight, I was deep into a long, unlit stretch of highway where cell service dies and the desert presses in on both sides. That's when my temperature gauge spiked. I pulled over, hazards on, engine ticking loudly as it cooled. No wind. No cars. Just silence. Then I heard it. A knock. 3 slow taps. From the back of my trailer. At first I laughed it off. Wood shifts. Metal contracts. I'd heard noises before. But then it happened again, harder. Intentional. I stepped out with my flashlight, boots crunching on gravel. I checked the woods first. Nothing. When I reached the rear doors, my light caught fresh dirt smeared across the metal, like someone had leaned against it. I didn't open the doors. I started backing away when the knocking came again, this time from inside the cab, directly behind my seat. I jumped back in, slammed the door, and locked it. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I'd pass out. The knocking continued, slow and patient, like whoever, or whatever, was waiting knew I had nowhere else to go. I didn't shut the engine off again. I drove. For over 2 hours I refused to stop. When I finally reached a lit truck stop near Winslow, I stumbled out and checked everything. The cab was empty. The trailer seals were untouched. But on the inside wall of my sleeper berth were muddy fingerprints, pressed deep into the fabric. They were facing inward. I finished the delivery at sunrise. I told my dispatcher the truck needed maintenance and took 2 weeks off. I still drive. But I never stop at night anymore. And when I sleep, I keep my back against the wall. My name is Javier Morales. I'm 42, raised in San Bernardino, California. I work for Pacific Crest Transport, hauling refrigerated food stock, produce frozen meats, dairy, up and down the West Coast. That night, I was hauling sealed pallets of frozen beef from Bakersfield to a distribution warehouse outside Sacramento. It was raining hard. The kind of rain that blurs your mirrors and makes the road feel smaller than it should. That's when I saw him. A man standing on the shoulder. No jacket. No bag. Just staring at the road like he was waiting for something. I shouldn't have stopped. Company policy says never pick up hitchhikers. But something about him bothered me, the way he didn't move even when I slowed down. I asked if he needed help. He climbed in without saying a word. He smelled like wet soil. As we drove, I tried talking to him. Asked his name. Where he was headed. He didn't answer. He just stared forward, eyes wide open, never blinking. After about 15 minutes, I noticed his reflection in the passenger side mirror. It didn't match. In the mirror, his face was closer to mine. The smile wider. His eyes were blinking rapidly, while the real ones never closed. I looked at him, then back at the mirror. "You okay?" I asked. He turned his head slowly and whispered, "You weren't supposed to look." The radio erupted into static. The cab lights flickered. I slammed the brakes and threw the door open, falling onto the wet pavement. When I looked back, the passenger seat was empty. No footprints. No wet seat. Nothing. Police reviewed my dash cam footage later. It showed me talking, laughing nervously, reacting to an empty seat. Except for the final frame. Something leaned toward the camera from the passenger side. And smiled. I still haul food. But I never drive that route at night anymore. Some passengers don't need a ride. They're already on their way. Some roads don't warn you when you're about to cross into something you can't explain. Some stories don't sound like horror until you realize the person telling them is still alive. Truck drivers spend their lives traveling through places most people will never see. Empty highways. Abandoned rest stops. Miles of darkness where help is hours away, and sometimes whatever is out there knows that. These stories aren't told to scare you. They're told because someone survived long enough to remember every detail. The knock that shouldn't have happened. The passenger who never should have existed. So if you're listening to this at night, if you're driving alone, if you hear something you can't explain, don't ignore it. And don't answer the knock. If this story unsettled you, you're in the right place. Welcome to DW of Dread. where true life-inspired horror, dark road tales, and unsettling human encounters are brought to life. Subscribe so you never miss a new story. Like if this one stayed with you longer than you expected. Comment below if you've ever experienced something you still can't explain. And remember, the road doesn't forget who travels it. Sleep well. We'll see you in the next story, here on DW of Dread.